But we move on and we briefly talk about the other major wrestling events going on this weekend. WWE Night of Champions is clearly not the only thing going on. In fact, it's so much not the only thing going on that TNA Slammiversary is taking place at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Boston on Sunday afternoon. You got NXT, which is Sunday night from the Performance Center, and you've got AEW Forbidden Door with New Japan, CMLL, and Stardom this upcoming week. It is it's the fifth Forbidden Door event between these two. And I'll kind of ask you, because Forbidden Door I thought was very interesting when it first started. Has the uniqueness of this event is kind of worn off with AEW and New Japan and all of them working together?
That's a wonderful question. I don't think it necessarily has, because I do like the fact that I will give AEW credit where they're showcasing. I know there's some diehards that do watch. I mean, you and I have we both can talk about it. We don't watch New Japan weekly. We're not like weekly. We don't watch it like WWE. But it's cool where you can see some talent that you've heard of from people that watch all the time. You see clips online, and you get to see them at these type of shows face off against, AEW wrestlers in some really good matches. I until it bores me, I'll say I like it because it's different. It's different than WWE, and you're showcasing talent that you might be familiar with to an extent, but you can't say, oh, I've seen this match like in real time. Like I
guess what kind of wore it off for me is as casual New Japan fans, there was specific names in New Japan which got me interested. And while those specific names, like the Okadas, like the Ospreys, like the Takahashi, they are in AEW now. So, I'm not as familiar with the people who are solely in New Japan anymore, but we'll try to, on these events, because there are so many of them, if they were free of charge, we're talking they're all on streaming services, not just NXT, which will actually be on over-the-air television this upcoming Sunday, but let's say they're all on streaming services we have, where you can watch them all without any additional fees. Where would you rank out of ththese three events, Forbidden Door, Slammiversary, and NXT, in your pantheon of what's most important to catch this weekend?
If I didn't have to pay anything,
yes.
Forbidden Door. I think Forbidden Door. The problem with Forbidden Door is, you gotta pay up to get through that Forbidden Door. You know what I mean? Like you gotta the paywall, so to speak. So yeah. I mean, yes, we're not going down the rabbit hole of ways you can do it and all that stuff. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But just strictly speaking, we're talking dollars and cents. If I could watch one of these shows for nothing, this is the best of the three. But because of ease and cost, I'm probably going to watch Great American Bash first, because it's not hard for me to get CW. I can just flip on my TV. It's there. I don't have to pay for it.
So we'll then quickly kind of gloss over the main events. We got about 30 seconds for each of them. That's crazy how short a minute of time we got. But the main event of Great American Bash actually has got a little bit of a Forbidden Door element into it too, because Tony D'Angelo, who's the NXT champion, is taking on Naroku, who formerly known in New Japan as Evil, for the title. Do you see Evil becoming the new champion, or Naroku becoming the new champion NXT, or does Tony D'Angelo overcome the fireball that he got in his eye the other day and retain his championship?
As much as I like Naroku, aka Io Sky's man, they are one. I think they're setting this up where Tony D is going to overcome the odds and win this match.
At Slammiversary, the championship is on the line. Last year, we were all thinking, because me and you were in attendance back in New York City for it, that Mike Santana was going to become the new champion. It's crazy to think Trick Williams left that match as the TNA champion, as we were just talking about him at Night of Champions. But Mike Santana is the champion right now, taking on Nick Nemeth. And Nick Nemeth won a Call Your Shot. That's their King of the Ring. That's their Royal Rumble. So he's got the money in the bank, if you will, Call Your Shot championship opportunity. He's taking on Mike Santana. He's been having a little more of an edge lately. Do we see Mike Santana retaining the belt?
Yes, I do. I think Mike Santana is going to retain. And it's going to be a great match, because we know Nick Nemeth is he's a walking, talking great match with pretty much anybody.
Forbidden Door, what it has similar to WWE's Night of Champions, it's got two tournament finals where the winner goes on to All In, which would be AEW's version of SummerSlam this August. Mercedes Moné and Maya World for the women's Owen Cup Final Championship. And then for the men in the Owen Cup Final Championship, we've got Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. And then the main event overall, it's Team Briscoe, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Takahashi, and Darby Allin versus the champion MJF, the Don Callis family, which has got Okada and Andrade as part of it. And if the Briscoe team wins, Mark Briscoe himself gets himself a championship match. So I guess my question is Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland, quickly, who's going to All In to face MJF?
Oof, this is so. If Briscoe's team wins, he will earn a championship.
Yes.
What the heck? I want to see Briscoe in a title match with MJF. So I'm gonna go Team Briscoe.
Do we have Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland? Who's going to All In to face MJF? It's Will Ospreay because they're going to London.
Will Ospreay. I mean, that's going to be a great match. Great match for Will Ospreay. I'll take it.